What if the greatest battle in Jamie Fraser's life was never meant to be fought with a sword, but with fate itself? The cold wind sweeping across King's Mountain carries something darker than war. It carries the feeling of an ending. Long before the first musket fires, Claire already senses it. History has been whispering this moment to her for years. Frank's old notes, the stories written in dusty books, the ghost she never fully understood. Every road seems to lead back to the same terrifying possibility. Jamie Fraser is walking toward death. The episode opens in complete silence, except for the distant sound of soldiers preparing for battle. Men sharpen blades beside weak campfires, while horses stomp nervously in the mud. The camera slowly finds Jamie standing alone near the ridge, staring into the endless fog rolling across the mountains. He looks exhausted, but calm in a way that almost feels unnatural. Claire watches him from behind, unable to shake the fear tightening in her chest. She approaches quietly and slips her hand into his. For a second, the world disappears around them. No war, no prophecy. Just the two of them standing together while the sunrise bleeds across the sky. But then Jamie says something that makes her blood run cold. He tells her if anything happens today, she must promise not to follow him into darkness. Claire immediately pulls away, angry that he would even speak those words aloud. Yet beneath her anger is panic, because deep down she knows Jamie is saying goodbye without admitting it. The fragile peace shatters when Ian rides into camp with devastating news. Lord John Grey has vanished. At first, nobody understands what happened. Then, the truth starts spreading through the camp like wildfire. Percy betrayed them. Captain Richardson took Lord John during the night, and now nobody knows where he is being held. William's face changes instantly. The anger and confusion that once defined him are suddenly replaced with raw fear. Only days earlier, he finally accepted Jamie as his father, and now the one man who protected him his entire life may already be dead because of that truth. Jamie wastes no time. He knows exactly what this means. Richardson is forcing his hand before King Mountain even begins. The trap is obvious, but Jamie cannot abandon Lord John. The debt between them runs too deep. Claire begs him not to go, reminding him that the battle itself could already destroy them. But Jamie only looks at her with heartbreaking softness. He tells her there are some men in this world worth dying for. The words hit William harder than anyone else. For years, he believed Jamie was selfish for hiding the truth. Now he finally sees the impossible sacrifices both Jamie and Lord John made to keep him safe. Without another word, William grabs his weapon and tells Jamie he's coming too. For the first time in his life, Jamie doesn't see a British officer standing before him. He sees his son. As darkness falls, Jamie, William, and Ian move silently through the forest, searching for Richardson's hidden camp. Gone are the polished uniforms and noble titles. The woods strip all of that away. Now they are simply three men connected by loyalty and blood. The tension between Jamie and William slowly begins to change during the journey. At one point, William nearly slips crossing a steep ridge, but Jamie catches him instantly without hesitation. The moment is small, but powerful. Neither man says a word afterward, yet everything feels different. Meanwhile, back at camp, Claire becomes consumed by terrifying visions. Ever since the strange blue light came from her hands while saving the baby weeks earlier, she has felt something inside herself changing. At first, she tried to ignore it, but now the memories return stronger than ever. She sees flashes of Jamie covered in blood. She hears distant voices whispering his name. Brianna notices Claire trembling and begs her to rest, but Claire cannot. She admits the truth she's been hiding from everyone. She believes Jamie is destined to die at King Mountain. Brianna is horrified. She asks if history can still be changed, but Claire doesn't answer right away, because for the first time since traveling through the stones, she truly isn't sure. Deep inside the forest, Jamie and the others finally discover Richardson's hidden camp between the cliffs. Guards patrol the area with muskets, while prisoners sit chained beside wagons. Then William spots Lord John, bruised and restrained near the fire. Relief floods his face, but it quickly disappears when Richardson suddenly steps out of the shadows, smiling. He reveals he knew Jamie would come. This was never just about Lord John. It was about dragging Jamie Fraser exactly where fate wanted him to be. Before anyone can react, gunfire explodes through the trees. Chaos erupts everywhere. Horses scream, men fall into the dirt, smoke swallows the entire camp. Jamie cuts Lord John free while William fires desperately beside him. But during the battle, Jamie suddenly freezes. Standing high above the burning camp is a figure, watching silently from the ridge. Benjamin Cleveland. And the look on his face makes Jamie realize something horrifying. This rescue mission was only the beginning. The smoke from Richardson's camp still hangs in the air as Jamie stares up at Benjamin Cleveland standing motionless above the cliffs. There is something deeply unsettling about the way Cleveland watches the chaos below without lifting a weapon. It's as if he already knows how this story ends. Jamie feels it instantly. This man isn't interested in winning a battle. He's waiting for destiny to finish its work. Before Jamie can move toward him, Cleveland disappears back into the darkness like a ghost swallowed by the mountain itself. The escape quickly turns brutal. Richardson's men close in from every direction, forcing Jamie, William, Ian, and Lord John to fight their way through the woods under relentless gunfire. William stays close beside Jamie the entire time, and for the first time, their movements begin syncing naturally, almost instinctively. Father and son stop feeling like strangers. At one point, a soldier raises his musket directly at Jamie, but William reacts first, tackling his father to the ground seconds before the shot tears through the trees above them. The moment leaves both men stunned. Jamie looks at William differently now, no longer seeing the angry young officer who rejected him, but a Fraser willing to die for family. By sunrise, they finally make it back to camp, exhausted and bloodied, but the relief doesn't last long. The army is already preparing to march toward Kings Mountain. There is no more time left to heal old wounds or recover from the rescue. War is here. Claire rushes toward Jamie the second she sees him alive, throwing her arms around him so tightly it almost feels desperate. But even as she holds him, her fear refuses to fade. Something inside her keeps screaming that this reunion is temporary. Lord John quietly thanks Jamie for saving him, but Jamie refuses to accept gratitude. Instead, he tells John the truth. There was never a world where he would leave him behind. The emotional weight between the two men is overwhelming, because both understand this may have been their final chance to speak honestly. Meanwhile, William watches silently from a distance, realizing how deeply connected these men truly are, not by blood, but by sacrifice. As preparations for battle intensify, strange things begin happening around Claire. She hears whispers when nobody is near her. Candles flicker violently whenever Jamie walks into the room. At one point, she reaches for Jamie's wounded hand, and the faint blue glow appears again beneath her fingertips. Brianna sees it this time too and freezes in horror. Claire finally confesses what she's been terrified to admit. She believes the blue light isn't healing. It's calling her towards something unnatural, perhaps even death itself. Brianna refuses to believe it, but Claire's expression says everything. She thinks fate is preparing her for the moment Jamie falls. Out on the battlefield, the tension becomes unbearable. Cannons roar across the hills while smoke blankets Kings Mountain in darkness. Men scream through the fog, unable to tell friend from enemy. Jamie fights like a man possessed, charging through gunfire while William stays close behind him. For a brief moment, it almost feels like history itself is bending around them, father and son fighting side by side exactly as fate intended. But then, everything changes. A single musket shot cuts through the chaos. Jamie suddenly stops moving. The sword slips from his hand as blood spreads slowly across his chest. William catches him before he hits the ground, screaming for Claire while the battlefield erupts around them. Time seems to freeze. Claire runs through smoke and bodies until she reaches Jamie lying pale and motionless in William's arms. And then she sees them. Standing in the haze behind Jamie are the ghosts of his past. Murtaugh, Dougal, Galus, even Frank Randall watching silently from the edge of the battlefield. None of them speak, they simply wait.
Claire realizes with absolute terror that Jamie is standing at the edge between life and death. Her hands begin trembling as the blue light slowly returns, brighter than ever before. William watches in shock while Claire presses her hands against Jamie's wound, desperately begging him not to leave her. The glow spreads through her fingers, pulsing like lightning beneath his skin. For one horrifying second, Jamie's body goes completely still. No breath, no movement, nothing. Claire breaks apart completely, whispering that she cannot survive losing him again. Then, suddenly, Jamie gasps violently back to life. William stumbles backward in disbelief while the blue light vanishes instantly. But something feels different now. Jamie looks at Claire with tears in his eyes and quietly says he saw them waiting for him. He saw everyone he lost, and they told him it was not his time. As night falls over King's Mountain, another mystery quietly unfolds far away from the battlefield. Fanny stands alone beside the stones, clutching the gemstone tightly in her hand, while the familiar buzzing grows louder around her. Her eyes fill with tears as the wind begins swirling violently through the circle. Somewhere beyond time, something is calling her name, and for the first time, the future of the Frasers may no longer belong to history alone.